Next witness is, I think it's Ali Shapiro. Next witness is, I think it's Ali Shapiro. From San Antonio.
Why do we have an original title? What can we do with it? Original Spanish title.
I can't, I'm sorry, I can't answer your question. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon to the commission, and thank you for participating in this and hoping to make everything, righting a wrong that has occurred over the years. I am an heir from multiple land grants from Lopez, Ayala, Hinojosa, Ramirez, Cavazos, and Valle. I have watched my grandmother struggle, tell us stories about how the Spanish came and we are of a different blood and how we have been given certain rights, but they were taken from us, and have watched her with hope in her eyes that maybe someday it will be righted. Unfortunately, nothing has happened except for this, and I'm hoping that this will be a vehicle to correct the situation that has occurred. We had a little discussion just a second ago about how Indian reservations exist because Indian rights were taken from them, but they were given opportunity with their lands to be, they were granted lands, the ability to have free laws, no taxes, casinos, and yet you see us, here we are, original land grantees from the Crown of Spain prior to anybody else coming over, and we don't even have any lands, no reservations, no free education as far as college education, university education, nothing of the sort, no free health care, no Indian Cherokee health care, whatever that is granted to them. And here we stand with families in poverty, have suffered in hardship, nowhere to turn, with hope in their eyes, still wondering when is this going to be righted. So I'm hoping that this commission comes up with some recommendations to make this right. Yesterday, by the grace of God, I was introduced to a member of the ranch family. In fact, he is one of the King Ranch family heirs. And he had the gall to say to me, "I'm sorry about your family." He says, "I just want to let you know that it has already been decided. Why are you appearing before and giving testimony if it has already been decided?" As he pulls out his iPhone to show me pictures of him and his family with George Bush Sr., George W. Bush, Lady Bush, Barbara Bush, and our own Speaker of the House. Yes, sir.
So you think everybody on this commission is being ruled by those people?
I did not say that.
Oh, but that's the implication, and I resent it. I resent it like you resent everything else that's happened to you and your family. We are not here pawns of other officials in the state. We are doing our job, and we're listening to you, and everybody here, after we've said this 2 or 3 times today, knows we can't solve those problems. We have a specific bill that we have to go by. So we can't solve ancient problems unless they're reported to the comptroller. So if you want a change in that, go back to the legislature and get them to write legislation that takes care of the problems that you're talking about.
I just finished mentioning how he scrolled through his pictures and his iPhone to show me pictures of the Bushes, pictures of our own Speaker of the House currently. I apologize, but this is fact. Furthermore, he asked me to shake his hand. And he said to me, and I was not going to say this, but at this point I will. And I'm very highly educated. I have 2 master's degrees, one that and one that I didn't finish because I chose to go another route, but that would have been an MBA, that would have been 3. and a PhD. I am not just somebody off the street. And I have been here. Thank you. And that is what he said. You should be shaking my hand. And I said, for what? He said, had you had the money that was rightfully yours and your family's, maybe your growth would not have been stymied. You would have ended up a drunkard at some bar with no life. You should be thanking me and my family for taking that money from you. Fact. So, I don't know how we're going to proceed with this. But I do know that if it's already have been decided, then why are we here? Why are we here wasting our time and building up hope? It should not be happening. There should be a solution to this issue that has been going on for over 200 years. Something similar to the Indian reservation, something of the sort. My families and ancestors and everyone in this room were not as blessed. Not everybody got the education that I got. And thank God that I did. I bless God for that every day. But that left a lot of people in poverty and unnecessary hardship. I have some questions. The commission is due to be dissolved, I believe, January 1st or something of that nature. What will happen when this commission is dissolved?
Well, I think our commission is in existence through 2015. We're supposed to have finished and made our report by December 31st of this year. I suspect that the reason the commission is not dissolved until the end of 2015 is in case or maybe it was the middle of 2015, is in case the legislature wants to call us or any members before to discuss the report that we're going to submit.
Is there some way we can extend that and have an extension for this commission? Because we are not finished, we're not even close.
Well, I suggest, one of the comments I made earlier this morning was House Bill 724 did not say that it was an act to create a commission to study restitution or reparations for descendants of Spanish or Mexican land grants. My suggestion is that you find a representative and senator like Representative Guillen and Senator Zaffarini and put that bill, ask them to sponsor that bill so that the members of the legislature who would have the authority to do something would hear the testimony that we have heard in these proceedings. I feel they should hear that testimony. I don't feel that should have been imposed upon volunteers who really didn't understand that was going to be the nature or scope of these proceedings to begin with.
I understand.
So whenever you make these kind of comments, I take a little offense by it too, because I feel like you're saying I said those things to you.
I've never said that. I said that it was the King Ranch
or
heir.
that this commission is responsible for statements such as that. And
also not true. And it is on public record, and it is recorded, and it is witnessed that I said it was a King Ranch heir.
Okay. Well, I don't think there are any King Ranch heirs on this panel.
No, I don't think so. However, I would like for the commission to consider as part of a recommendation to extend the time of this commission.
That was one of my recommendations for the sole purpose of the issues that you're talking about right now.
Thank you, Mr. Bazan. Also, being that I have represented my family and my family's families for some time now, I went to UT Austin. That was my initial undergraduate education, so I spent a lot of time at the General Land Office doing my own research, talking to the Texas Railroad commissioners, their office, and everything else. Trying to make claims on the website and going back and forth. It is a grueling process. There is nothing simple about it. Number one, I appreciate your recommendation to make sure that the land grants, Spanish and Mexican land grants, are included or anything that is unclaimed. I appreciate that. That's wonderful. That's a good start. But I think we need to have a database with the family genealogies included so that people know where it comes from. It's one place, one-stop shop. Everybody knows we're almost always connected anyway, somehow, some way. And that would probably streamline the process if we had some sort of a local database for the family genealogies so that people know where they're coming from and where it's going. Easy to search on the website if that would be possible, because then you can just tap into the name. Women, we go through a lot of name changes, you know, depending on how many marriages you've had or deaths or whatever, but there are name changes galore, and so it makes it difficult for us to trace it when you go in and type in the name of who the unclaimed property was for if the name was changed. So we need to go back, make it the original grantee, have family genealogies online, even if it's only for X person of X family. You can make one person in charge of it so that it's not all public. I like transparency, but I don't want everybody just like, you know, throwing in, oh, well, I'm this, well, I'm that. Well, you know, let's prove it up. You have to have proof in this day and age. So, also, what are your powers as far as what is your mission, your goal at the end of this term?
We have no power. We have no authority. We're a purely advisory panel.
That's it.
That's it.
So what was the
That's why
purpose?
my suggestion is that a bill needs to be introduced to the legislature that says what I've suggested. Find sponsors for it, and I think that if that bill does get introduced, it'll be referred to a committee of the legislature, both houses, and there'll be hearings, and I think that this testimony should be given to members of the Texas legislature who have the authority to do something about it if they so choose.
Well, I've been through the legislative process. I've done some internships in lobbying and so forth, and I understand that that is not easy. If you're not top priority, your bill may never get heard. Even if it gets introduced, it may get tabled. It gets pushed around. So we've got to have you all to represent our bill and go and find a sponsor for us. Because we're just going to get pushed aside. You know how many times that tobacco bill had to be piggybacked, even though it wasn't germane to whatever legislation it was during the time that it was trying to get passed? It got attached back and forth, and it took forever to get the tobacco bill passed. That's what would happen. It may not even make it. So we need you as our representatives to introduce a bill or get it introduced somehow, some way, so that this can move forward. We don't have power without you or your recommendations. Yes. We need to share in the responsibility of getting this handled and solved. And have our backs while we're at it, please. Okay. I believe that's all I have. But would appreciate that there would be some way that we can get a hold of all of you somehow and find out where we're going. And definitely we need to have an extension of this commission, as well as you all fighting for us to introduce bills to get them to the right people at the right time, please, so that they are on the legislative floor by January 1st.
Any questions for Ms. Shapiro?
Any questions? Anyone?
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.